Back when I was a kid, I've had this courageous feeling about books. Even when I was 6, maybe even 7, my mom always read me books to sleep. Out of all my siblings, I was the one most entangled with the books, and I've always had this passion to just read as many books as possible. Back then, I had a competition with my friend Diego, and we both tried to read as many Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. Along with that, I've had plenty of novels that just caught my attention. Some of my favorites growing up were the Hunger Games trilogy, as well as all the Harry Potter books, even if they were super long. As I get older, it's been one of those challenges in which I have to continuously read, not only because I'm an author, but because I'm striving to find that magic. After several weeks and months of looking into books as a whole, I'm pretty confident I found a solution. How I exactly found the magic of books like I was when I was a child. Hello! If you don't know me, I'm Arnel Arcega. I'm one of the healthiest authors you will ever meet. As a writer, author, and motivator, I make sure people stay on this path of reading and writing. I help people with their own writing projects in the Instagram down below, which you can check out along with my books. Understanding that will allow me to captivate the foundation I'm building with this video. Books as a whole have a fantastic magic that no matter how much older or hell even sometimes younger I feel, they still exist in my own heart. I feel them in a manner that doesn't touch the same level as albums or even movies, and yet no matter what book I read, they will effectively tell me exactly what I want, what I get, and in return, I get one of the best stories ever told. That's the magic of books. As I explained at the start, when I was a kid, I've had this passion to start reading. I've had this passion to read as many books as possible. I joined all the book clubs I had all these tournaments like Battle of the Books back in elementary school. Then COVID hit. It was around my 5th grade year at that time, but it made me stay consistent even more in books than I ever expected. This is mainly because around this time I started reading The Lord of the Rings, as well as other literary novels like Lord of the Flies. Ironic as that sounds, I spent the past decade trying my best to read as many books as possible. And this progress, as you can see here, is not only one to make me seem smarter, but also more knowledgeable of this craft. I've had this progress of reading for a good while, but it wasn't until 2024 when I started taking books way more seriously. As you can check out with this channel history, excluding the playlist deeply in the channel, the first ever video I've ever made was all about the books I read in 2024. It was a fantastic year, letting me sink my teeth into the books I was reading and caught my eyes to my own attention. I started reading especially heavy in 2024, mainly because while I've had this stack of books all here, I read in the past decade, this stack in the back here were the ones I read back in 2024. And I've always had that dream of not only trying to read as much, but also explore different tastes, different authors, and try to make myself better because I started writing my first book at that time. The magic of books is a fantastic element that plenty people don't talk about simply because there's a lot of ways to look over it. Books in itself are one of the most passable objects, despite it influencing many movies, TV shows, and music. There's plenty of ways to look into books, but it's one of those where it's by itself isn't one that's well worth to talk about. This is mainly because it lacks visuals. You don't need to hear it, you don't see it. All you do see is your own imagination with the words presented on paper. That's where I understood the power of books and how it can impact my own mind, and in particular, how it impacted this year. 2025 has been heavy, especially on the reading aspect. I spent countless hours trying to copy that same magic of 2024, but I started sinking. Earlier this year, I started reading plenty of self-help books, not because I was in desperate need, but because it gave my mind knowledge. It made me seem prouder of the life I was living, and I felt well adjusted with the books I read, along with the books I needed to read. It felt good getting across many of those ideas while also staying consistent on this path. And then I started reading books about fiction. This is the point in which my life started taking a turn, for better and worse, in how I gained the information I got from books. Books, while great in telling stories, also have non-fictional elements similar to YouTube videos in which they're trying to sell you a theme. No matter what, they're trying to sell you an idea, and a prosperous one at that. And that alone shifted my way of thinking. How fiction works is honestly my Bible in how I look into books and storytelling as a whole. It's mouthful, way too long, way too short at times, and yet somehow has the right amount of information and details that allowed me to not only dictate the way I write my own stories, but also change the way I view a lot of things in my own life with details in particular. Books are that great aspect of just elevating what you think, but there's plenty of ways to look over it that honestly tends to get pushed aside because they're books. They're small, they can be thrown in the garbage, and unlike a phone, TV show, or laptop, they can just be tossed away because they're not in dire need. So what did I do to get that magic back? Even reading non-fictional books and books that just tell me what to do instead of telling a fictional story, I still felt inspired. I still learned quite a lot on my journey of understanding books, and as a whole, it inspired the reasons I write in the first place. Inspired writing can come from thousands of sources. One of the most prevalent cases of this comes from all kinds of nature, going outside, looking at the bees and trees. Even with allergies and the allergy season as a whole, there's plenty of ways to look over allergies, and it allowed me to look and feel inspired of what I was writing. When it comes to books, it allowed me to see exactly the details that matter and why I continued reading in the first place. I always made sure at the start of this year to read from the morning all the way to the night. I made sure to read for at least 1 hour and 2 hours a day, but it started sinking, and I can feel it similar to a workout or hell, even working on my own book. Inspired writing not only allowed me to journal better, but also made me clearer about what I'm trying to create. This is because I made sure to not only tell my own stories, but I also want to educate myself on what is possible. I'm not that same kid I was when I was younger. Neither are you if you're watching this video. You aren't someone you were just a few years, a few weeks, or even days ago. What I learned in this process of reading books is that while they can continue inspiring your own life, they aren't going to be the magic savior you expect them to be like they were when you were a child. If you're similar to me, which I guarantee you quite are if you're watching this video, I'm telling you it's one of those where books are an amazing aspect of just getting across the theme and message, but it's also all about just reading more. The more you read books, the more there's hope for the future. Books are easy because they're everywhere. Everywhere from your screens to the physical hands in your copies to even the stories your friends tell. They are everywhere. Fictional, non-fictional, poetry, songwriting. They can be done in any and all kind of manners. And the thing about books is while they're never going to go away, they simply evolved. And that's what I believe is the hope for the future. The rise of AI and social media, there's plenty of ways to think about books as a whole. And it scares a lot of people, similar to me, that there's going to be a replacement for the way we think. But it's people like us who stay on this path of reading, writing, and also improving our own lives that will not only make the magic of books feel like a kid all over again, but it also just sacrifices all the little things, all the bad things you keep on doing in your own day-to-day life. No one's life is 100% perfect until you strive to it. There's plenty of things we keep on doing. We keep on scrolling too much. We keep on drinking or eating bad materials, and so on. We keep on interacting with people who aren't worthy of us. And that alone changes the way we think. So understanding why we read books in the first place, excluding the belief and the loser ideology that it's honestly a nerd thing to read, doesn't help. Along with all the performative people on social media, don't read the damn book if you're just going to show it off for clicks. The magic of books are what they come in the pages. They are the information you get out of it. And I'm telling you, it's beautiful to see the information all laid out by one, two, or maybe even multiple dedicated authors and writers. That alone will not only teach you way better than a lot of things in school, but it's also more credible, more effective, and your life will be motivated to do anything and all you want. It's your own life. What I want to give out and give inspiration for the future, no matter how old or young you are, you keep on writing because you can. You don't want to be a consistent reader, and that's what the magic of books is. You don't want to be consistently reading too much information at once, but I do want you to read enough. Read enough books that will take you away from the screens. Read enough books to make you satisfied of what you see and hear every day. And when you get to that feeling, you'll feel like a kid all over again. Like a little kid playing video games or a kid playing outside. Books give out the same feeling. Specifically to me, like guys, but it also affects girls and women of all ages too. No matter who you are, you have to keep on reading books. This is important because I believe that the future is built on successful people. If we don't have enough successful people with the rise of illiteracy as well as stupidity, especially in schools nowadays, then we won't have the procedures we can to improve our own society. And with that in mind, even with me just as someone just talking to a screen, it's beautiful to know that we have the power to change things. All because of $1,000,000 ideas we see in books, whether it's portraying something terribly effective, showing something that we don't want in a dystopian future, or even just educating us on what we know. Continue reading and continue writing. If you enjoyed this message, I hope you can take that information out. It sounded deep, and I get it. It's emotional for me as someone who's been reading and writing for a while. But again, someone who stays on this path will not only be stronger mentally, but also be physically stronger too. If you enjoyed this, I hope you can keep on reading, keep on writing, and taking the information down my links down below. Until next time, keep on reading, keep on writing, and take care.